Hey guys, Troy here, and today we're going to be looking at Gordeau. So, I was watching Koefficient's guide on Gordeau, and I wasn't that pleased with it. Probably because I'm a perfectionist, and he doesn't really main Gordeau. I don't blame him. It's just that's just how it be sometimes. So when you play a character and someone tries to make a guide on him. So I'm going to be making my own guide. There's going to be timestamps in the description. We're going to go over his normals, his specials, his neutral game, punish game, assists, and good partners to have with him. So just check out the description, or I'll probably pin it in the comments as well. Anyways, let's get started. So Gordeau's a really good character. He's from the Untitled series, so he has reverse beat. Let's show off that real. Okay, so reverse beat is a mechanic where anytime you hit anything, you can cancel into any button as long as you haven't used it in a combo, right? So I can do this, I can cancel into a jab. So for example, if I hit him on block, instead of waiting for the whiff lag of this move, I can just instantly do this move and counter out all the whiff lag on that. Not the whiff lag, counter out all the lag on that. So let's talk about his normals. He has a really good 2C. It's a Gatling, so you can do 3 in a row. Unfortunately, it does not hit low. As you can see, he doesn't have to crouch. So this is a really good tool to Okazemi. So let's see. Anyways, so as you can see, since it's a Gatling and it's really fast with little whiff lag, it's a really good tool to Okazemi. And since you have the reverse beat mechanic, you can instantly cancel into anything again. So that's really good. Then you have his jab. So his jab is a 1, 2, 3, 4 move with an ender this steals meter. So all these moves that have this little like claw come out of his right pocket, that means they steal meter. So for example, this move steals meter, as you can see in the bottom right corner. So with this move, it's a pretty good solid move. That's the auto combo right there. But obviously you can cancel it into whatever you want as long as you haven't used it in the combo before. Just make sure this third move has a lot more end lag than anything else. So if you're gonna go for so usually you don't want to go for that third move. Usually instead you'll want to just do the second move and then do something else out of it. Because for example, if they reject here, let me. Okay, so see that? Because he reject blocked me, I had so much end lag on that. Oh god, I can't do it with 2 controllers. You get the point though. You want to be careful with how you use that move. It's just the first 2 moves are way better. Anyways, now we're gonna go over Gordeau's bread and butter. So this is his 5B. It's a single move that does a crap ton of range, and it has a second that also pulls inwards. Now you can do this on block, but you cannot do this on whiff. So if I accidentally miss it, I get a crap ton of end lag on it on my character. So Gordeau is optimally played around this range. Now, the third hit in the auto combo, you can obviously only do if you hit them. So we're gonna have to turn this off. And this one comes out of his right pocket. It steals meter. This is a really solid auto combo. You're gonna be using 5B a lot in neutral, so usually you're gonna want to do this, something like that. Just cancel that move into something else, because it's not often optimal to steal meter. Even though stealing meter sounds good, it's really not that great. And technically, it isn't even a steal. You only get a little bit of meter because you're hitting them, not because you're stealing it. But they do lose meter, which is good. Now his low. This is his 2B. Oh, this is his 5B, by the way. I forget if I mentioned that. This is his 2B. Now this 2B is insanely good because, see if we can get him to guard all swap. So see how he blocks low and then blocks high. With this move, this is a low part. The first hit of the move. See how I can cancel it right there? That's the first hit right there. So the first hit of the move is a low, and the second hit is just a normal. So what's really good about this move is that's his head invulnerability move. So if we... So as you can see, really huge move. Just like most of the other Unio characters, they get a huge normal for their 2B head invulnerability. Really good. Solid. You can combo it into a crap ton of things, and it's really good for pressure. So for example, if we put them on... guard all, no swap. We can bop bop, bop bop. You know, stuff like that, or crap. And it has pretty good horizontal range, as you can see. But you know, nothing you really want to use like that. Okay. So now we're gonna go over his universal overhead. So just like all the Unio characters, it's a universal overhead. All you gotta do is press the C button, his 5C, and one of the good things about this move is if they're blocking you, guard all swap. So because of reverse beat, you can 5B, 5B, and then do this. This is a mix-up. This is not something you want to do a lot, but if they're crouching low, so for example, crouching, no swap. If they're guarding low, you can just do that, and you'll get through their guard, which is really important because Gordeau has struggles getting through people who are crouch blocking. So if you learn that, it's pretty good. But remember that if you're close to them, you're just gonna go over them. So obviously, optimal range right around this side. Now, another thing that's really good is instead of 5C'ing, you can use his other C move, his 2C. Now, his 2C, it wouldn't seem that good all to its own. It's a pretty decent slide. It hits low, so, you know, that's pretty good. But the thing that's really good about it is that it has reverse beat. So, I can go 2C, 5B, blah, 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 blah. Anything, really. So, I can go make it safe by covering the N lag with my 2A. Stuff like that. That's just what makes Gordeau so safe and neutral. If you aren't getting outranged, then he's just like insanely safe. Now about his aerials, he has A, B, C, and DP. His A is it's a pretty good move, but it's hard to space, and you usually only get the first hit. You can do the second hit, but it's not as good, and you obviously have to commit to it. It's good for pressuring in the air. I don't use it that much, I'm going to be honest. It's not that great. It's pretty okay if you're going to, like that. Otherwise, it's a pretty okay move. Jumping B, decent move. You can't really combo off of it that well unless you're, like, falling. Just like any other move. And jumping C is just awful. I fucking hate it. It's not even an overhead, so it can't hit them on block. It floats you upwards, which is kind of good if you're gonna bait something. Otherwise, not really. The only good part about the move, in my opinion, is that you can cancel A, B, C into Dragon Punch. So, if you couldn't cancel C into Dragon Punch, it would be a borderline useless move. But since you can, it's not that bad. I'm just going to show really quickly his standard air combo. So you're going to hit with the anti-air. So if you didn't catch that, it's a jumping A and then cancel it with reverse beat into B. So, and then another jump A. B, C, and then AD for Dragon Punch. So, I'll put it on screen right now. It goes jumping A into only the first hit of jumping A, into jumping B, then jump again, and then do jumping A, B, C, AD. So it's really simple once you get the hang of it. And it's just really nice. It's a pretty good combo. Oh, I totally forgot DPs and assists. Okay, so this is Gordeau's DP. It's not that great. It's like any DP if they're jumping. If they're jumping and you do a DP, it'll hit them out of it. Notice how I put him to guard all, but see that blue exclamation point? That means that it went through his block. Now let's talk about Gordeau assists. Gordeau assists are insanely good. For a character who's like pretty in neutral, where he might actually be viable just off his neutral alone, he also has some of the best assists in the game. So, for example, he has this. That knocks them onto the ground. So I can do things like... I don't know how to play a Hakumen actually, but you get the point. Combo into it, and then hit him again. Just really solid in general. Your defensive option, instead of 4P, is now 5P. 5P is your Grim Reaper, and it's just really insanely good. You can use it for defense, to cover you when you're doing a projectile. So like, for example, say I'm S, and I want to do a projectile, or I guess Hakumen has his... You know, Hakumen's a bad example, but say I'm S, I want to do my projectiles. You can call in Gordeau to cover you as long as you don't think your opponent's going to do a projectile to hit him. Really solid. Just make sure that you keep your opponent on your toes, and you can obviously do this if they're blocking. If they're blocking, you can, like, you know, things like that. Just do regular block strings by calling in Gordeau to start it for you. Now, another good thing about Gordeau's assist is his 6P. His 6P is like a little bit more than like half screen, probably closer to 3/4 screen. It steals meter, but because it's one of his pocket moves, obviously. So if we set it to that, bam, steals a shit ton of meter actually, and it's actually relatively decent for doing combos out of too. I don't know how to play Hakumen, so this isn't really a good example. But you get the point. Really good, solid assists he has, and you won't be disappointed by Gordeau, whether you play him point or anchor. However, I personally would put him point every time, because he does need assists against some of his weaknesses. Now let's start talking about his weaknesses. So, we talked about how strong he is at this range, and he's relatively strong at this range. But what about if someone is right outside of your range? You really can't do much. And the problem with this is that characters who are long-ranged are really, really good against Gordeau because of this. So if you don't have someone with like a fast projectile like Ruby, S, etc., who can cover you with their 6P to make sure that your opponent can't just actively zone you forever, then you're going to have a really, really hard time. Gordeau mixes with any character as long as they aren't like completely... Mixes with any character as long as they have a decent 6P, in my opinion. But obviously, Gordeau's assists work with any character, so you can just stick him on to be an assist bot for you. Just realize that if you're playing against someone, a high tier projectile character, you're just kind of gonna get fucked sometimes, and that's just how it be when you play Gordeau. Other than that, I think that's everything. So we're gonna go over his specials now. This move. That's his 2-3-6 or quarter circle forward A. It's called the Grim Reaper. Grim Reaper. So it's a really fast move. It covers like 3/4 of the screen. It's just insanely good, and you can combo out of it. Just really solid. And even if they're blocking it, sorry, I gotta wait for my meter. Even if they're blocking it, you can make it safe with an assist, or you can swap into a character while having them in the corner. So Gordeau is really good for getting a character into the corner and then coming in with another character and being like, oh, I'm Hazama, so blah, 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 whatever. Really solid, but that's only his quarter circle forward A. His quarter circle forward B, slightly longer, does more hits. I think it's 6. Yeah, really great move. It's just insanely good, pushes them to the corner, but that's not what you gotta worry about. You gotta worry about the EX version. Insanely fast, does even more damage, and you can even combo off of it with your assists. So for example, a combo I like to do with Hazama is yep, there you go. Just really solid move. You can combo off of it. You can even do the same thing as last time. Just pressure with it. Insanely good move. Really good to do. Now, we got to talk about his quarter circle backs. So, these moves are really weird, to be honest. So, Gordeau is a character all about, you know, going in the mid-range and being like, you can't touch me, but I can touch you. So, you're going to have to sit and block while I hit you with whatever I want. But this move is all about, like, going in close and grabbing them with a command grab. So, obviously, this goes through block, and you can do an assist, so you can combo off it. So, it's good. It's just, like, it's not in his area of effect. So, you got to be, like, really close for it. I don't know. Not too great, but still pretty good if someone's, like, blocking against you, and you really got to do something. And I should really use this more, but I really don't. And if I remember correctly, yep, it grabs crouching too, which is better than a lot of grabs in this game. A lot of grabs, if you're crouching, it just doesn't hit. Rip my boy Kanji, you know what I'm saying? So that was his 2-1-4 A. Obviously, that's one of his pocket moves, so it's going to have, what do you call it, meter stealing properties. But 2-1-4 B is an air grab, and it's just an insanely good move. This is optimally how you want to end most of your combos. If you're not going to end with like a super move, or if you're not going to end by spending meter or assist in any way. Just really solid move in general, and it combos off of one of your best tools, your anti-air that also hits low. Now, we got to talk about his 2-1-4C. 2-1-4C is a command grab that goes, it goes through block, it does 2800 damage, and 2800 damage, and it steals meter. So, for example, so it takes a bar, but it gets a little bit back, so it's a pretty nice move. You just gotta have the right situation to use it in, right? Which, usually the right situation isn't gonna be there. Anyways, now, obviously, we gotta talk about his supers. His supers are, not gonna lie, kind of wonky. They're not too great, but we'll talk about his quarter circle back BC first, which is 2-1-4 with the super input. Anyways, just a really solid move, and just good tool all around. The only problem with this is it's a really long move. So if you're not gonna hit your opponent, okay, well, bad. There we go. So if you don't hit your opponent, you can get hit by like any projectile they throw out there, which a lot of the top and high tiers in this game have a really solid projectile, even if they're an up-close character, meaning that you don't want to whiff this move. It's just good that it's like full screen move. Anyways, your 2-3-6 BC or your 2-3-6 quarter circle forward super is this. Oh god. Steals meter, doesn't do as much damage, but you know, it's a pretty solid move. The only problem with it, and this is a big problem, is it's really like not okay. That was a bad example. It's so far range, it's going to be hard to show. But if you only hit with the pull-in hit, it's not going to combo. Like, which is the same with this move. Sometimes you're just not going to be able to do anything off it. Sometimes some of his moves just don't quite link together that great. God, I can't get the... Yeah, like that. Some of his moves just don't link together that great. And one thing with his quarter circle forward super is if someone's not crouching. God damn it. Jumping. I'm dumb. See, since it doesn't hit the first hit of the move, if they're jumping and it only hits the second hit of the move, it won't do anything. It'll only do that damage for the second hit. Yep, like that. So that super's not too great, but you know, it has its uses at like full screen if you want to like punish someone for doing something stupid. And that's about it. So why don't we hit you with the astral?
Good choice.
All right, so now we're gonna do his astral. It's a pretty cool one, so I'm just gonna shut up. Enjoy. Alright, that was cool, wasn't it? So, now I'm gonna talk about, like, objective stuff that we can all talk about together. So, like, Choryu, what do I do in neutral? Choryu, what do I do in punish game? Etc, etc. So, about Gordeau's neutral, it's a lot about finding that sweet spot where you can still hit the move, the 5B, and start your strings. If someone is crouch blocking, it's a lot about finding ways to open them up. Anyways, it's a lot about like being in this area and opening them up. That's one of the sad like truths of Gordeau. If your opponent knows how to play the game, it's gonna be really hard for you to get in and do anything, honestly. So it's a lot about like circle jerking in the corner, trying to figure ways to open them up, and that's really your neutral. You kind of just sit here. I missed. Anyways, a good thing to learn is your mix-up, so, and then into standing C, or if they're doing this. Ah, God. Or if they're standing and blocking, you can do this. I was a little bit too far. Yep, just things like that. Things of that nature. Those are mix-ups, though. So be careful using them too often in neutral. That's really all you do as Gordeau. He's not too flashy in neutral, but once you do get to play him in the punish game, that's where it gets fun because you get your reverse beat. In punish game, it's a lot about... Here, let me stop him from blocking. Once you get the hit, it's a lot about converting as much damage as possible with your reverse beat. So, for example, if I'm at max range... the only thing I'm going to be able to do is go into the 2C. But the 2C kills scaling. So if you're at, like, mid-range, you can do this instead, and you'll get more scaling off it. Just a lot about like how you approach the neutral influences, how you approach the neutral and where your positioning is in neutral is going to influence what combos you're going to be able to do. So mostly you're just going to be doing this combo a lot because that's just optimal for the max range. But if you are closer, stuff like A. Notice that it had the cancel on the right side. So this combo, if they're too far out, the third hit of that auto combo won't hit if they Ukemi, aerial Ukemi. So let me turn that on real quick. Yep, there it is. Other than that, there's not much else to his punish game other than just finding different ways to string things together. Because you are a Untitled character, you have a lot of unique ways you can do that with your reverse beat. If you really want to get into the nitty-gritty, a lot of your normals can cancel into other stuff, so just basically throw whatever you want out and then combo it into it. The only thing you really have to worry about is comboing into your assists. You get the point. I don't really use my Hazuma's assists much because on characters with bad assists, Gordeau kind of struggles with comboing with them. Well, he doesn't actually struggle with that, but as a Gordeau player, you won't be used to stringing in assists as well because reverse beat is just such a versatile mechanic that it's just not worth ever trying. Another good team is Ruby Rose Gordeau. This is the double scythe team. Really infamous. It's probably his best team out there. He's just got they both have really solid neutrals, and she has this. So that just really helps you. Anytime someone's camping you, you're sitting in crouch block. Oh, they end their auto combo. Bam! Now it can come in and get up in their face. So for example, New, she's doing her B auto combo. You're crying. You're sitting in block, and once her auto combo stops, you pull in the Ruby. Oh, whoops. You're crying in block. You pull in the Ruby, and you get in on her face. Even if it doesn't hit, just the fact that you forced her to jump or you forced her to block it gives you enough time to come in and try to do something with it. And if they did block, you can obviously DP because it hits through the air, or you can anti-air because the anti-air is really solid. Other than that, that's really the only nuance to Ruby Rose Gordeau team. Other than obviously Gordeau is Ruby is a high tier character, and you can do whatever the fuck you want with her. What else? So let's talk about everyone that I think Gordeau synergizes with. So people who can cover his ass when they're far away are your top priority. So you're gonna want people like New 13. You're gonna want people like S. Basically, if you take a top tier character, one of the top tier characters with swords and projectiles, S, Jin, even Blake to an extent, Ruby, etc., etc. Anyone with range that also has a good projectile is going to be good with Gordeau. Insanely good with Gordeau. Those are going to be your best teams. But other than that, Naoto is pretty good because she's really campy and she can cover with her 6P. Aegis is relatively decent. I would say Aegis doesn't do as well close up, so she's not that great of a team. Carmine is an insanely good one. Aurier is a pretty okay one, but obviously her 6P isn't too good to synergize. Hyde is a decent one, but his projectile isn't too great, so I wouldn't completely recommend him. And that's about it for me. Don't pick Yukiko in general. And if you want a different archetype, you can go for the lockdown. So characters like Hyde, characters like Waldstein, characters like Hakumen, who can get up on the opponent's face, and anytime you get that command grab, you can hit them with a really big assist to get good damage off of it. Just really solid teams in general. Okay. And I didn't really mention it that much because I don't think it's that important. But his positives are that he has a good neutral, and he's really safe on everything because of reverse beat with his long moves. And his downsides, if you need me to reiterate them, are that he struggles really hard with people who zone him, and he's really, like, he has little to no mix-ups. Go through his skins one time, because I know some people like that. $14, 15, and 16 are DLC skins. Not worth IMO, but if you're really into this game, want to support the devs, that's what I did. I bought them. Anyways, ended off with the cute Aegis skin. Thanks for watching, guys. I was kind of all over the place, so I'm going to be jump cutting it a little bit just to make sure the guide is concise as much as I can make it, even though I was really nervous. It's so hot in my room, and I had to turn the fan off. But that's just how it be. Thanks for watching. If you have anything to say, feel free to put it down in the comments. If you need me to tell you what I think of your team, or anything really, I'm here for you. Put it in the comments. I'll pin any advice you have, as long as it's good advice for the new players. And I'm going to be posting this everywhere, so make sure to share this with your friends. If you could hit me with a subscribe and a like, that would be great. Bye-bye. So, we're going to pick Hakumen right here, just to make a point real quick, because I don't see Andy Hosmas talking about this. I'm in the BB Tag Discord, I'm following the BB Tag hashtags, etc. Oh, why is that? Etc., etc. But I don't see many people talk about it, so you can do things like... Oh, God. I cannot do inputs today. Notice that. That is a 4.3k combo off of my command grab. It only took 1 meter. And it also goes... God, what am I doing? I'm so tired. It also goes through block. So someone's blocking you. You don't know what to do. You can come up, grab, come up. Oh God, I'm dying. So someone's blocking. You don't know what to do. Yada 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 yada. I can't do anything. He reject blocked me. So you can run up, hit him with that. It's a pretty decent move, but the cool part is the assist, of course. Just 4.3k, it's ridiculous. And if you're not on block, you can do things like... So, if they're blocking standing, for example, if you hit them with the low from the 2B, because remember, the first hit of 2B is a low, you can cancel into this and do that. So if you hit him with the low, it's a pretty good move. It's just not optimal, of course, because you can do things like that. You can do... You know, anything else. It's just, if you want to steal that meter, then it's something you can think about. And you'll still do pretty optimal damage because of Hakumen assist. So this works with any slow assist. Like Waldstein 6P, I think, is one of the ones that works. Just really solid in general. We can do the same if he's not blocking with jab. But obviously, if they're blocking low or high on that, it doesn't matter because it's a jab. So that's not as good. Get some extra money, even though I'm never going to use that. So we talked about Hakumen and other slow 6Ps and slow assist in general, being able to combo off that command grab. Notice that 214A and 214B, you can combo with any character. It's just that 214C is a slower move, so you require a slower assist. But the good thing about that is that the slower assist will usually have higher damage and higher range.